Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, 6 a.m., December the 9th, and it is PPI day. And suddenly, people learned about PPI that had no idea what PPI was because PPI is coming out today. And everybody is highlighting PPI, PPI. PPI is your producer price index. So it is a quasi indicator for CPI. But it's not something that you're going to go out there and you're going to go rely on and, bet the farm with. Last month, CPI came out on November 15th, and it was a beat. It was only 0.2% when they were expecting 0.4%. Now, again, it was on November the 15th. CPI came out on November the 10th. So it was after CPI, whereas this month it's prior to. Nothing really to wrap your head about around, but it's just there. So, it's PPI day is all that it is. What I had not alerted or made notification of was, wow, man, from November 10th, when we had that CPI day and we had that big pop up, even going back, a little bit prior, back from this 36.98 when we hit that on November 3, or yeah, November 3. We closed red that day. I can't, from the top of my head, remember what the actual headlines were back on November 3. I don't have anything notified on my spreadsheet, but we closed red. After that, November 4th, we close green. We close green again. We close green again. For those who do remember, which I do, this 36.98 was very, 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 very close to the June low, 36.36. And so, anyway, we got our bounce. We closed green 3 days in a row. Then we had the November 10th CPI. We closed up 207 points. Then we closed green the next day, which was on a Friday. We closed green. If you remember, I was going back and I was tracking how, look at this. We're closing green. Friday green, Friday green, Friday green, Friday green. And then we closed Friday green again back on November 18th. But during that week of November 18th, OPEX week, we only closed green on Tuesday. Closed red, 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 red. Two green closes back 2 weeks ago during Thanksgiving. Green, green, red, red, closed red on Friday. Then again, going into the final week of November, which was last week, green, red, red. We had the big green day, 122 points from Jerome Powell. The next morning, we went up there and hit that 4,100 to start this month. And we closed red. We closed red, 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 red. 5 days in a row, we closed red. And yesterday, we closed green. I was pushing on this. I was pushing on this. And I will again push in front of you that data that I shared over in the alert room that we have not closed green 2 consecutive days in a row, other than 2 times during that 10% rally up to 4,100. So that's a lot to get your head wrapped around to think we ran 10%, but we only closed green back to back twice, and we closed red more times than we closed green. But here's your chart. Again, always going back to your charts, and your charts are where you are getting your data and information from. That 39.33, that 39.55, that 39.45 area has continued to be support for over 20 days, for 4 weeks. I got tarred and feathered, which I well deserved to be tarred and feathered earlier in the week from the spreads room because we did not close above that 39.45 on Tuesday. We didn't close above it on Wednesday. Yesterday, magical. Nothing to do with anything other than the fact that this is a video game. We had our bounce. We got right up to 39.74 within an hour of the opening bell, and we went nowhere for the rest of the day. We got the 23.6 retracements from both pivots, from this 40.80 and from this 4100. And again, if we are going to have said that this dip is completed, The first thing we need to do is get above 39.80, 39.88, pressure 4,000, and then we're going to have to fight like a cat and a dog for that 40-20, 40-30 area, which you remember we failed over here middle of November. You remember we failed over here Thanksgiving week after we posted the highs of the month. And then again, we've got that gap to be filled over here. And we start to confirm that this dip is completely over once we start getting up above that 40.80, especially above that 4100, 4115, 4135. And that's when we can start to say, no question whatsoever, what Tim was saying back on October 17th, every day since then, that we're looking for 4,200, 4,300 between Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're going to be heading for that 4,250 plus or minus 25 points as we head into the end of the year. But today is PPI day. Today is threatening to be 2 consecutive green closes should we get a positive reaction. And then we have nothing on Monday, and then we have CPI on Tuesday next week, and then we have the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. So, again, we could have big fireworks heading up to the upside. We can have big fireworks heading down here to 39.85. We're dead smack in the middle there. We're 110 points above 38.55. We're 110 points below 40.80. We are Malcolm in the fucking middle. We are stuck. So let's get some confirmation around, and then we can start to beat on our chest and say, we were right. Until then, we'll see what PPI gets us. I hope you guys have a fantastic Friday morning. Enjoy the hell out of your weekend while you're trying to find parking spots when you're doing your Christmas shopping this weekend. And I will see you in the chat room later.